The first is customization, right? So you can take those 100 holdings, and if your client has some sort of preference around what they want to hold and what they don't want to hold, maybe expressed through, let's say, environmental social governance factors, ESG, we can layer on what we call an ESG overlay on that. So the advisor can call us up and say, I don't want carbon, I don't want these types of businesses. We can apply a screen and we can filter them out, or we can filter them in. So we can say, hey, let's take this ESG universe that you really like, and let's make that our starting point. Let's take that starting point, make it look like the S&P 500, and distill it down to, let's say, 100 holdings. So first of all, it can be very, very customizable. It can be exactly what you or your clients are looking for. The second is because unlike an ETF where you don't hold the underlying holdings, you hold the basket, the single security basket. By holding the individual holdings, it's a very tax efficient vehicle as well. That means that we can go through those 100 holdings and we can look for ways to harvest losses. So it becomes a very tax efficient vehicle as well. Now, Adhesion, as we mentioned earlier, is a managed account platform. One of the things that we do, we specialize in multi-manager, what's called unified managed accounts, or UMAs. What that allows us to do is we can build, let's say, core satellite portfolios with a direct index in the middle and other managers around it, all inside of a single account. So where many advisors had been buying separate accounts in individual accounts, we now have the ability in a single account to hold, let's say, 5 managers. And when you put a direct index into that single account, it does a couple of really important things. First, it allows Adhesion to start to generate losses in that direct index. Those losses can be used to offset gains in the satellite holdings. So now we're talking about creating a tax neutralized portfolio by virtue of having that direct index in there. We've also talked about the way to customize and filter it so that it looks very attractive to a client. It reflects their desires and needs. I can absorb into that direct index legacy low basis holdings. So if your client is breaking away from a wirehouse or a broker dealer, and you want to take those holdings with you, we can build a direct index around that so we can absorb in those holdings. Also, if the other managers in those satellite holdings are buying and selling securities, rather than selling them, we can move them over to the direct index core and to absorb them into the core. That now means that there's far less trading and trading friction resulting from that particular those transactions. So, and the last thing that's really important too is we also can prevent things like wash sales, right? So where you may have a direct index in one account and a large cap growth manager in another account, they're all buying and selling Apple, right? So because it's in a single account, that direct index has the ability to discontinue wash sales or prevent them from happening. Now, the other important thing is that because it's a direct index, and it's what we call a passive solution, the cost of it is really low. So if you've got a core satellite portfolio with 50% of this direct index in it and other active managers around the satellites, it can bring that average blended product cost way down. Average direct index on our platform is about 15 basis points. So you could build an entire blended portfolio in the 30 to 35 basis point range and still be a very competitive solution. That reduction in product cost fee helps insulate the advisor from having to reduce their own fees, because we're going to take the product cost and crunch it down to a more palatable place.